You're a California native. You've spoken out recently about some of the laws that have been passed in California and how that's going to impact your training. Give viewers a little bit of insight. What will some of those laws pass? How does that affect your ability to train for Tokyo coming up?
Well, one of the big ones is the ammunition law that was just passed in California, having to do a background check each and every time. I mean, I average between 500 and 1,000 rounds a day, every day in training. One of the big things is, my sponsor being able to ship me ammo. I don't know quite how that's going to work, as well as if I have ammo that I purchase in California and say I take 300 rounds to a match and I want to bring maybe 100 rounds back because I didn't shoot it all, I'm only allowed, I think, a couple rounds of that to be able to bring back. So I don't know what I'll do with the rest of it. So, I mean, there's some real challenges there, as well as some of the guns that have been in my family for generations. 22s. My mom has a deer hunting rifle that I know of that are going to be deemed assault weapons. And at that point, I have to, have them registered as assault weapons, and they won't be passed on to my son upon my death. So there's some real major issues there that I have, just not only being a competitor, but just being a Second Amendment advocate and being a shooter and being born and raised in Southern California. So, I mean, there's so many. There's another one, too, about being able to loan somebody a gun or a shell if you're trying to coach them. I mean, how do you teach somebody about shooting or, educate them about safety and responsibility if you can't loan them a gun to even try the sport? So it's really killing our sport at the core, and that's something that I have, I feel very strongly about speaking out about and really trying to educate the general public about these laws that are being passed.
We were talking to, I think it was one of the members or the president of California Pistol and Rifle Association, and he was saying this is going to have, that measure that you mentioned particularly is going to have such an impact on youth involved in competitive shooting. I mean, because that's going to stymie a lot of kids being able to actually learn. I mean, how do they learn if you can't, if they're not loaned a firearm? Because not everybody goes out and buys a gun right when they're getting involved into it, and they don't know really what their particular discipline is going to be yet.
Well, immediately I think of like the Boy Scouts and earning their badges. I know how I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to coach the Boy Scouts, and I mean, how is that going to work? I mean, they can't share a gun. Their parents will have to purchase a gun. I don't even know how that'll work. So it's going to be very interesting these next few years to see how this all plays out. And, they're only getting stricter. There's another bill that's on the voting block with Newsom, the Newsom Act, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's tough.